Hi there, students. Fiddly, fiddly. Okay, if something is fiddly, it requires dexterity. It requires that you are good with your fingers. Um, let's see. I find these small mobile phones terribly fiddly. The buttons are too small and I can't press the right ones. Or something that's fiddly has lots of small bits, lots of little bits that you have to move. And this is very, very fiddly. This is a very fiddly job. Um, it's difficult to do because the parts involved are very small. So if you've ever tried to repair a watch, it's a very fiddly job. Yeah, because they're very tiny bits and you need to be able to manipulate the very, very small bits. Yeah, because it's got all of these fiddly bits. Yeah, it's something that is fiddly, is something that's detailed. It's awkward to do, it's awkward to use. So replacing the battery in this machine is very, very fiddly. It's awkward, it's difficult to do. Now notice this word fiddly. This is a British word. Yeah, it's a word the Brits use. It's something that requires dexterity. It requires attention. Okay, so you've got to concentrate. You've got to be. You've got to pay very careful attention to the detail. Okay, because this is a very fiddly job. Now notice it ends in ly, but it's an adjective. Yeah, requiring close attention to detail. Requiring an annoying amount of attention to detail. Yeah, I did have a GoPro for a while, but the buttons were very fiddly to change the settings. Okay, so something that's fiddly, it's difficult to do, it's difficult to use, it's difficult to control because it involves small, complicated pieces. Filleting fish, cutting the flesh from the bones from the flesh of fish can be a very fiddly job. Yeah, it can be a very time-consuming and fiddly job getting out all the bones. So it's awkward. It's awkward to handle, but that's because of the small size. Yeah, the most fiddly bit. So it can be a very fiddly job, but it's definitely worth it. Yeah, taking all the bones out of a piece of fish, it can be very fiddly, but at the end of the day, it's worth it because like that, you enjoy it when you eat it. Okay, or these watches that are computers. For me, they are too small. They're too fiddly because the buttons are too small. Okay, so it's very fiddly. There are lots and lots of different fiddly bits. Complex, complicated, detailed, intricate, awkward, tricky to do. Yeah, so this repairing a watch is very fiddly. Zips are much less fiddly than buttons. Okay, if you've got gloves on, it can be very fiddly to do certain things. Okay, so yeah. Some people don't like to eat prawns because they're very fiddly to eat. You need to peel them, and that can be quite a fiddly job. Okay, so it's something that requires attention to detail. If you've ever tried repairing electronic circuits, repairing electronic circuits can be a very fiddly job. It's time consuming. It's small. It's awkward to handle. And that's how something would be fiddly. So it's the adverb in a fiddly way, but fiddly, complex, complicated, difficult. Formality. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 in formality. Maybe even a 5. 4.5 in formality. Use it informally, use it in a semi-formal conversation, semi-formal writing, perhaps not in something very formal. But remember, this is a British word, and I'm not sure if the Americans actually understand the meaning of fiddly. Let's see. So as to origin, it comes from the word fiddle, yeah, which I guess is your violin. and I think it probably can be quite fiddly to play the violin to get your fingers on the right notes. Proto-Germanic, fitpuller, fiddle. So anyway, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Fiddly.